Too long, clearly.
Yes, it has been.
That was weird and interesting. Roll 20. I love how you keep throwing all these hardballs at me. What the hell? I was doing something and then the what's it called? The thing I was messing with just vanished from the screen. I was like, "What? How is that even a thing?"
Yeah.
All right. So, go ahead and start the stream now. I am going to move you guys to the image of the map just so you guys get a general idea of where you are. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see where the wormhole is, which is right here. And then if you go southwest, you could see where Academy Annex Gamma Starlight 1 is. And just as a quick reminder, and also, for first-time players, the Gamma Quadrant has been more or less avoided by Starfleet and the Federation for a while because of a certain conflict that was going on. However, the Dominion and others have decided to allow Starfleet to come back and kind of continue their exploration, but they're just like the Dominion's like, just stay out of our space and we'll be fine. But even then, there has been a few minor issues with the Dominion and the infamous Allegiance. However, so far nobody has. Well, none of the main characters have died. So far so good. Um, where are we at? Okay, there we go. So I gotta just make sure everything else is set up on this end. Yeah, roll 20 is being weird. So is Gilded, but that's nothing new. Alright, and I'll move you from the map to there. Alright, so I'm going to just quickly read a captain's log. That's not the one I'm... Yes, that is. Nope, that isn't. Okay, there we go. Captain's log. Stardate 79021.0. The USS Republic has returned from the Alpha Quadrant 3 days ago with a new batch of Starfleet cadets, ready to take on the Gamma Quadrant in their first Academy year. They are brave to train so close to the collective territory of the Dominion and the infamous Allegiance, not to mention the enigmatic Saphir, whose military might was proven through the conflict with the Dominion. But Starfleet is going to need more than bravery to outsmart and outpolitic the infamous Allegiance. Today, we will be conducting multiple training scenarios, both up here in space and down below on Gamma Starlight 1, the planet of the first Gamma Quadrant Academy Annex. Undergoing a Starship bridge simulation aboard the Republic, Cadets Karava, Prix, Lex, Hines, and Drava are just now realizing that their main test is their ability to work together and remain calm under pressure, and hopefully not crash my ship into a subspace sensor satellite in the process. Speaking of, I'm going to move you guys to the bridge, and your Eidosian captain has just dictated his log and is sitting in the captain's seat. At Con is a cadet, a Bajoran cadet named Cadet Lex. To Ops, to his left, but right if you're looking at it on the screen, is Cadet Ukath, who is notorious, at least to some of you, for being kind of a hard ass and a fourth-year cadet who doesn't take crap from anybody. To the port of the ship at security is Cadet Karava. the half Bajoran, half Romulan. The Bajoran Drava is the engineering officer, and there is a cadet who is a Vulcan, who I believe, let me check his name. He's an NPC. His name is Cadet Brack. He is also at engineering, just in case Drava could not make it. Drava, are you here today? I do not see him, so I was wise to place him there. And then over to the starboard side is a science cadet named Hines and a medical cadet named Cadet Prix. Also on the bridge is Lieutenant Vivek, who I see you got a picture there. I'm gonna have to. It's not letting me move it. Oh well. Yeah, it's not working for me. But you are on the bridge, Lieutenant Vivek, and of course, Cadet Karava. You would remember or recognize. You're gonna have to minimize that picture by a lot. Alright, I'll do it. There you go. But you will recognize him as the science cadet who graduated last year. And also went to command school, so he is now a junior lieutenant. I don't believe anyone else here, besides Hines, obviously, would know him. So I guess I'll start with Guy, with Cadet Karava. How does Cadet Karava feel? What is Cadet Karava's reaction to seeing an old colleague return as a trainer rather than a trainee? Are you there, Guy? All right. Great start. Either he's AFK or something's wrong with his...
I think something's wrong with his mic.
He was working a minute ago. Alright, well then, let's see. Let's do some... What was that?
Sorry about that. I had my, anyway, she'd be very happy. Should be bugging him a bunch. Like, hey, how you going? What are you doing? What are you up to? What sort of thing?
Alright. Mac, how does Lieutenant Vivek handle being bugged by a cadet?
Hey, I haven't seen you since I graduated last year. Yeah, I graduated.
Incident of the android. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen you since then. Basically, I've graduated the. I'm actually helping train you guys now.
Awesome. Have you been in House Command School? I'm hoping to go there. I'm hoping to go there soon as well.
It was actually great. They actually teach you a lot. But I ended up as a jump from ensign. I didn't even become ensign. I became lieutenant junior grade.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I still stayed as my old science officer as well.
We need to catch up more. She'll say sort of really excitedly, and we need to catch up. I'll make lunch for us later, like after the mission.
Yeah. That's depending if I'm not working. So.
It'll be fine.
I would like to catch up with you guys later.
Speaking of which, Captain Eldon turns to you, Lieutenant Vivek, and says,
"If that will be all, please, Lieutenant."
Yes, sir.
He turns and looks to Helm.
Oh, sorry, sir.
He says, Cadet Lex, plot a course. 400 kilometers at quarter impulse.
Roger, sir.
Alright, so you are going to roll your first task. That is going to be either control or reason. I'll let you decide which one. And con. And usually, generally speaking, you want to check and make sure if you have any focuses that would apply. And in this case, helm operations definitely apply, so you can click on yes, and then go ahead and click on the task roll button. And it's a difficulty 0 roll, so basically anything you get over 0 is going to just give your group momentum to spend for more dice later on. And that's 2, so you guys have 2 momentum that is in your pool. The ship kind of moves ahead at a leisurely pace, and you change its course relatively easily enough. And Cadet Ukoth kind of glances over to you and says, good job, rookie.
Well, just like being back home.
She kind of scoffs, says, you flew 1,000-ton military starships back home?
Just aided with some cargo runs. There might have been 1,000 tons on those.
Well, just don't scratch the paint on this one.
I'll do what I can.
Meanwhile, over at the Science and Medical alcove, Cadet Pricks, you will notice that more than... you probably would have noticed this earlier as well, but more than any other cadet on the bridge, unless your character is more so, he seems to be a bit nervous. He's typing away at his panel, but seems to be he's just typing or tapping at panels and buttons that he's already tapped, and he's just making himself look busy. He's running internal and external sensor scans multiple times, and just glancing over his shoulder every once in a while at the captain and at Lieutenant Vivek. How does Cadet Pricks respond to this obvious nervousness that her colleague shows?
She's nervous herself, but not really showing it that much. So she looks over and it's like, hey, you don't need to look busy all the time, right? That kind of looks suspicious. You need to make sure you look mellow. Chill.
He looks over and he kind of looks at her confused for a second, and then like his eyes widen slightly and he just nods. He's like, oh, I got you. I think I understand. Yes, sure. Chill, mellow, got it. And then he just like nervously looks back over his shoulder and
Confidence.
Yes, that's an abundance of what I have. Absolutely. I will definitely do that. And then he just goes back to what he was doing. Actually, make a let's see if you have an effect on him. Make a presence and medicine roll.
Okay.
And yeah, you do. I'm gonna say it's difficulty 1. So you got the 1 success needed, and basically he's like, you could tell you could physically see his body relax slightly, and he just kind of breathes out a bit, and he nods to you and he says, thank you. Hey, by the way, you're not related, are you? He kind of does a gesture back and forth between you and the Eodosian captain, which is definitely, yeah.
She looks at him and chuckles. Oh yeah, definitely my dad, definitely. You know, all Edosians are related, right?
Sorry, I've only met 2 Edosians, and they're both right here on this bridge. So, again, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it.
It's fine. It's actually really cool. I didn't think I'd get posted with another one. So yeah, kind of luck out there.
So your staticiness is back. It seems to increase like the more you speak. Yeah, but the good news is in the beginning it made sense because it kind of sounded like the Edosians speak. So it was great. But now it's getting to the point where it's really hard to hear what you're saying. So I don't know if you have to disconnect and come back. I don't
Okay.
But
The universal translator's failing.
Yeah, I might have to.
okay, I heard you a lot better then. I don't know
Yep.
what it is. I don't know what it is because you didn't disconnect, did you? So
I'll just
it must.
I'll just keep unplugging my microphone every now and then.
Ah, that's probably what it is then. All right.
So my theory was correct.
Yeah, I think it is a connection issue. But anyway, we'll jump from the bridge to Gamma Starlight 1. Cadet Charon and Krylos is not here. So you know what? Instead of that, we're gonna jump to the satellite because I have a plan.
Oh.
Yes, my plans, they always work. I deleted the one I didn't have to delete. Hold on, give me 1 second. Where is it? There it is. Cadet Charon, you are with Cadet Johnson and Deason on the platform of one of the subspace satellites. Get rid of that sound. That's orbiting the planet of GS1. Basically, it's the job of Cadet Johnson and Cadet Thiessen to do run a diagnostic, make some minor maintenance repairs, and it's the job of Cadet John, the security cadet, to just make sure they stay safe. There is oxygen in the platform that you're on. However, there are also 3 EV suits that are mounted to the wall just in case, because the satellite is about the size of a living room. It's not very big. There is a tiny airlock for you guys to get to and fro the satellite and the ship that just left like 30 minutes ago, which is the escort ship, the Argyle. So you guys, the 3 of you, are pretty much alone on this satellite conducting these repairs and diagnostics. So I will let the 3 of you take it away.
Soth is aware that he is not here to do the repairs principally. That's more for other people. So
You're
he'll
the safety guy.
yeah. So he'll be keeping an eye on making sure that there's the shuttle stays within transporter range, that the EV suits are properly available, that the seals are okay. But he knows that poking things is likely to make them go wrong. So it's more just keeping an eye on things really and letting the engineers go about their work.
Okay. Make an insight security roll, difficulty 0. And
Okay.
Mac and Tali, what are you guys doing as far as your diagnostics and maintenance?
I'm going to be running the level 1 diagnostic.
Okay, reason
Huh.
engineering, difficulty 0.
I'm
A
going down
13
to where
A 13 and a 7?
6.
6?
6.
Is the 13 under your combined score? I don't know if your character sheet is on here. Let me check. It might be.
What was the roll again? And yes, I have my character sheet up.
So 13.
13.
So yes, it is.
And it's 6.
10 and a 4. So yep. So that's 2 successes. So that is 6 momentum combined. And Science Officer Johnson, or Science Cadet Johnson, what are you doing?
He's going down to where he has to do the maintenance towards the repairs.
Okay, just roll 1, either control or reason or insight, and then engineering, whatever's your higher between those 3, control, reason, or insight. Just roll 1 dice to assist. Let's see, and nobody should ever be suspicious that I'm giving you guys a bunch of momentum at the beginning of the game.
Right.
All right, so you're 7 momentum.
What?
Speaking of which, you all notice simultaneously, which is good because you all noticed that at the earliest possible moment that as you're conducting your repairs and you're running the diagnostics and everything's looking fine, a sensor display lights up, telling you that a craft is entering the solar system. What do you do?
Soft will consult the. Oh no, that's Mac.
He would go. There's a sensor. There's a ship inbound.
Yes.
Soft will consult the readings to see what kind of ship it is.
All you can tell right now is it is a craft. You can't tell anything else. You can either spend momentum to obtain information, or make additional rolls, or contact someone outside of the set. I will go ahead and tell you, you guys know that the satellite, the sensor satellites that you're on, are the most powerful sensors in the solar system. Like, I would say the Prometheus is probably a little bit less, just because it's more designed for, you know, combat. But and so your sensors are probably picking this up before even the Prometheus is. So those are your three options. Make additional rolls, obtain information with momentum, or contact someone.
Why don't we
Momentum.
contact?
I mean, you can do all three if you want.
I think since we've got such high momentum, a momentum spend might be wise, and certainly don't contact
Yeah.
them until we know something about them.
Okay. So what's the question you want to ask to obtain information?
We'll start with, I imagine, the space equivalent of nationality and class of ship.
Okay. It is of unknown origin, meaning a possible first contact situation, and the class of ship, probably either escort class or scout ship. It's pretty small, probably small enough to fit no more than 8 or 10 people. It's I would say it's slightly bigger than like a 2-person shuttle, but not as big as a runabout.
Okay. And it just appeared out of nowhere, which means that it's got faster than light, I'm guessing.
No, it just entered your range of your sensor range. Like you
Okay.
could see it coming, like it's at sublight speed coming into the solar system.
Okay, alright.
Okay. I think the USS. He goes. I think the USS Republic is available for us to contact.
Yes, I don't think we should challenge this ship ourselves. It would be better if the Prometheus class were able to come in and deal with it, just in case it is hostile or we mishandled first contact.
Yeah. Johnson's types away at the console to contact the ship.
Okay, are you contacting them like live, or are you sending them a text? Like, how are you contacting them?
Live.
Hailing them? Okay. All right.
Yeah, hail.
Then we'll jump back to the bridge. And let's see. Karava, you get an incoming hail from the sensor satellite Alpha. You're muted, but I see you typed yep, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Can you not speak, or are you preoccupied, or voice isn't working? Okay. Well, just give me a general idea of what you want to do. Do you just want to tell the captain, hey, we're getting a hail, and let it go from there, or what? Man, it seems like everybody's voice chat is acting up today. Tell the captain. Okay. So yeah, you turn over, you say we're getting a hail. Obviously the captain's like, okay, we'll put it on screen. Captain Eldon stands up on his 3 legs, and as he does that, on screen is the android cadet Johnson, and Captain Eldon will say, Cadet Johnson, what is it? Report.
We're sending you information on first contact of an unknown alien ship of unknown origins.
I
They
see.
have warp capability. It looks like they have warp capability of ship.
I see.
They're coming in our sensor range.
Thank you. We will put them on our telemetry. Eldon, and we're also going to transport you from the satellite to our ship because that is a lot safer. So prepare for transport. Eldon out.
Yes, sir.
And Johnson's face blips off, and he contacts the transporter room and says, transport them over and then send them to the bridge. And then he sits back down in his seat. Cadet Hines, the science officer, looks over and says, Captain, we're getting the sensor telemetry. It looks like it is a small vessel. Couldn't fit no more than 8 or 10 individuals. And Captain Eldon looks to the pilot, Cadet Lex, and says, Mr. Lex, as soon as we get those cadets aboard, I want you to plot a course at full impulse.
Roger that, sir.
All right, so go ahead and make a, I'll say reason or insight. Either one will be fine. And con, the difficulty is going to be 1, so you just need 1 success to succeed at this task.
Okay.
And you've made it. Also, the ship assists, which we need to remember. Who wants to roll for the ship?
I'll roll.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be someone that has access to the character sheet on Roll20.
Never mind.
I'll roll this time, but someone needs to...
Yeah, I wouldn't have had time for the hands-on pilot to kick in yet, would I?
No, you've been on the ship maybe 3 days, probably less.
Okay.
But... let's see. Alright, so... but we will say that after this session, probably it would be the case, because then you just spent several weeks on it. But yeah, the ship does not assist, but that's fine because you were able to get the ship across, space towards this. Oops, wrong one. Towards this vessel that is coming in. And as you can see on the screen, Tali, your character, Johnson, and Aaron, all of you guys are beamed over to the Prometheus, or the Republic. The Republic, at full impulse, moves towards this unknown craft, and Cadet Hines reports, Sir, we're getting reading of 1 life sign. It's hard to determine the species, sir. And I need, well, first of all, Tali, your character makes it to the bridge and takes the seat at the engineering console. I need you to roll a reason and engineering difficulty 3 roll, because as you're reading the sensor data, some interesting information could be imparted to your character. Go ahead.
I would like to spend some momentum for another dice.
All right.
Can Cadet Johnson help?
Sure. That'll be 1 dice, and it'll be reason and engineering or science for Johnson.
All right. I got a 3 and a 4.
Nice. And what about
And my
dice?
next dice, my next dice that I bought, right?
Yep.
A 7.
All right. So you guys have 3, and with Johnson's assist, you got 4 successes. So that means you get a momentum, which you can spend for various reasons. But what you're reading is that this ship, its faster than light speed propulsion system is an inverse transwarp tachyon core, which is more or less the kind of propulsion that the Borg use. And it is going critical. It will probably explode or implode in 10 minutes, and that's about as long as it will take to get you guys into transporter range. So, Tali and
Question.
Matt. Oh, yep, go ahead.
Question. You say the kind of technology that the Borg use. Does this ship share the geometric design of Borg ships, even though it's very small,
No.
or does it look less geometric? Okay.
No, it's just the type of, it's the same way of saying like the Klingons use the same kind of warp speed technology that the Federation does. It's just a generic, like, I say it's an inverse tachyon trans warp core, just to give you an idea of like, it's kind of different than what you guys are used to. Just like the quantum singularity is different, that the Romulans use.
Okay.
Alright, so
Would we be able to detect what kind of species it is, like upon arrival?
That will be a difficulty. Actually, you know what I'll do? That is going to be a difficult roll, and I'm going to have the medical officer roll a science roll, or a medical roll, because it is a life sign. So it's going to be reason for Cadet Pricks and medicine, and the difficulty is going to be 3. So if you would like to spend momentum to add to your dice pool, you may. If you have any focuses that may come into play, you may use those. It is up to you how you want to do that.
Yes, I would like to spend a momentum.
Okay, so that puts your task roll to 3.
And how do I put that on my sheet?
So where it says task roll and it says 2, just click on the 3, and then just click on the roll
And then put
button.
3. Okay.
Yep. And then I will actually have, oh, well, you got the success, but I'm going to roll for the ship, or someone else can, for sensors and science.
If it's sensor science, there you go.
Usually by the time I ask someone to do it, I've already gotten there and done it. So, all right, so 4 successes total. So you guys get a bonus momentum, and you are detecting that there's definitely a single human or a single humanoid life sign that you're unable to completely determine what it is, but you are detecting. I'm gonna have to get this from Memory Alpha, because I'm pretty sure most people won't know what it is, but it is detecting the DNA of the hunters of the Tosk.
Oh, Hiroshima.
Nope,
Or
not
was that
those.
something else? Wrong hunter,
But I
sorry.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I will put it in.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah.
I remember the Tosk hunters.
It's
Yeah.
the ones where they're like sacred sport hunting that appear briefly on DS9.
Yeah. Now, in some non.
Yeah, it was Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, in some beta canon they call them the dry. But I'm pretty sure most people don't know that term, so I just called them the Tosk hunters. But yeah, you're detecting now. You're not sure if that is the humanoid individual that's in the ship, or if there's just the DNA of that creature or whatever. But you know that it's something living, and it's something that has the DNA of one of those guys. Now, if you want to spend momentum, you can obtain more information. As long as you don't ask, because I'm not going to answer. If you just say what species is the main occupant, I'm just not going to tell you. So you can ask questions around that, but if anyone wants to ask questions, you may.
Since it's
Lex will kind of turn to the captain and ask, "Want me to close in faster, sir?"
Not yet, Con. Maintain course and speed.
okay.
Johnson would have sent over that information about the warp imploding from earlier.
Okay. Well, yeah. Go ahead,
Since
Edford.
it's bonus momentum, so we might as well spend it. Can we determine, just for the sake of rescuing it, what environmental conditions it requires to live?
Now,
if it reacts poorly to an oxygen-rich atmosphere, we're not gonna. Yeah.
I will tell you that because you're detecting the in your scan not only the hunter DNA but also their full bodysuit that they have, even if and your character would know that they can live in oxygen atmosphere, so that's not a problem. But even if they couldn't, they would have their full bodysuit to be able to survive either way. So as long as you beam the entity with the body, with the suit and the mask and everything, he should be fine. If as long as you don't try to beam him out of it, then maybe you have an issue. But as of right now, that's not really much of an issue. You're also determining that their life support is at like minus, like 0.1%. So anything is better than vacuum of space.
Soth will recommend, Captain, since we are not immediately clear on his medical state or his intentions, might I advise that we transport him directly to medical, but hold him in a stasis field both for his own well-being and in case he is hostile.
Captain Eldon thinks for a second, and then he looks over to you, Charon, and then to Cadet Prix, and he nods and he says, both of you go to sickbay. Make sure that this, whatever it is, doesn't leave sickbay and doesn't leave containment.
Yes, Captain. And he will
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
immediately go.
All right. So.
Little pricks.
All right. So Prix and Charon. Let's see. I'm gonna say, how many other? Oh, we only have 2.
Oh, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm security as well.
Yeah, I know. I need someone on the bridge. All right. Yeah, we used to have like 4 or 5 security. Now we only got 2. But all right. So let's see who else. We got engineering, con, science. I'm gonna send. I'll let Mac, since they're both your characters, you can decide which one of your characters goes. I would send the lieutenant because they need supervision down there. So send Lieutenant Vivek with them to help out with the sciencey stuff.
I'll send. I'll send Vivek down.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant, so they're cadets, so they need the supervision, at least for the moment. Until we can make sure it's not a hostile creature.
And plus, he's good with them, so it will make sense.
All right, so any other? You guys still at full momentum, 8 momentum. So if you guys have any other questions about the ship, I'm gonna. Oh, also, let's see, engineer, Tali, go ahead and make a control engineering roll to transport them over. Difficulty is 3. I will assist with the ship.
All right, can I buy a dice?
You may. We have plenty of momentum. The ship did assist.
A 5 and a 3.
So that's 3 successes.
And another 5.
Alright, so 4 successes, back up to 8 momentum. You transported whatever that thing was in that suit over into sickbay behind a stasis field. All that is fine. Any other questions? And just so you know, you guys are slowly approaching this craft, which the craft is moving at sub-light speed, so it's not like it's like... You could tell just by your sensor scan and just by, looking out the window that it's not like at any kind of attack vector or anything like that. It looks like it's just kind of, it's very badly damaged, and it's coming in kind of relatively slow. And you guys are approaching it from at point blank range, relatively slow. So if there's any other questions, now is the time to ask them.
I have a question. So, would it be prevalent if we were to give it a tractor beam to kind of slow its trajectory?
I mean, it's possible. I'll give you this for 1 bit of information. Or for 1 bit of momentum, I will give you this. If you lock onto a tractor beam and move it any significant amount, because you can see bits of debris coming off of this thing, you're probably going to cause it to crumble even more. But at least it won't like hit one of your satellites, because at this trajectory it is definitely going to go into your atmosphere.
And that's what I'm afraid of. Because it could hit our camp, right?
It could.
In theory.
I mean, even if we say that your camp is on the other side of the planet, the worst case scenario would be it hits a satellite, which are kind of orbiting, so there's no real way to, unless you do like a really difficult sensor scan, there's no real way to see where the debris is going to land. Any other questions?
So who's the science person?
Right now, Cadet Johnson is at. Actually, I'm going to go back to move you guys to the bridge so that I can move people around. But yeah, let's see. Player characters, cadets. Johnson's over there. And who else? Oh yeah, Thiesen's at engineering. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. So you guys have like 4 minutes before this thing overloads. Any other questions, or are you just good with tractoring it and throwing it out of the way, essentially?
Yeah,
That would be
pretty much.
pretty good, I guess.
Okay. Before we do that, because, you know, suspense and all, and I don't think I have a sick bay map prepared, which that's bad for me.
Sounds like an oversight.
Always. But for right now, we'll just say we'll move you guys over there and turn that off. Alright, so you guys run the two, or you and Vivek. Let me grab Vivek's. Oh my god. You guys run down to sick bay. And there are some, I will say there's 2 random security guys standing just inside the door. There's maybe 1 or 2 medical personnel moving about. But these are enlisted people. They're not super professional. They're not super knowledgeable. I mean, they've just joined Starfleet like not too much longer after before you guys, and they're not in officer school, so they have less knowledge than you guys do at this point. But they're just trying to look at this guy who has he's got a full helmet on, and he's lying on this bio bed, in this brownish red uniform that most of you would have seen in like history books and things like that. You guys know who the dry hunters are at this point. You may not have seen one in person, but you would have known what they look like, just like we know what Roman centurions look like back in the day. Like, you guys have seen them. So you get in there. What's the first thing you guys want to do? I'll go to Vivek since he's the ranking officer. Lieutenant Vivek, what are your orders for this situation?
I would actually ask the doctor to do a scan of our guests.
So just a regular tricorder scan?
To see if there's any injuries. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would recommend Char to stay on guard, just in case, or
Absolutely,
if
Lieutenant.
yeah.
If my memory is correct, should this person regain consciousness, they will have remarkable ability at evading our protective measures. So until we are confident in the situation, we may wish to keep them sedated.
Yes, I agree.
Alright, so Cadet Cadet Pricks, if you want to roll a reason and a medicine to roll a tricorder scan. The difficulty, because this person is wearing body armor that is basically intended to prevent scans, the difficulty is going to be a 4. Which is really difficult.
4.
Yep. And that is with a reduced difficulty of using a tricorder.
Okay,
So if you got plenty of momentum, you even have bonus
would I be able to
momentum.
spend 2 momentum on that?
Yeah, you have 2 bonus momentum, which is floating, which you guys cannot bank. So I would use that at the very least, and then possibly maybe
Okay.
another one. But so if you use 2 bonus momentum, then that gives you 4 total. Does the science officer want to
4.
also assist?
And I need a 4, correct?
You need 4 successes, yes.
Yeah.
Mac, are you there?
Yes, but
Alright.
yeah, I am. I'm trying to gain access to.
For you, it's going to be reason and science. Ooh, you got a 20. So you need to get this success, Mac. Reason and science with 1 dice.
Yeah,
Oh. I was wondering why it was red.
Yeah, it's
Give me a
critical
minute.
fail. I'll roll it for you if you're busy.
Can you roll it for me?
Yeah, I got you. Oh.
Okay, so we need 1 more success.
Do you want to
It's
try?
Probably a good idea.
Do you want to try?
Yeah, to do the. I mean, I'm happy to. I was just thinking about the rolling the complication.
You could.
But-
If you want to take 2 momentum and just get rid of the complication, or take 1 momentum, increase the complication range 2 more, and then re-roll it, I will allow that. So, for Cadet Pricks, if you want to spend a momentum, which again, you guys are full up on momentum, so you have plenty of it, then you can increase the complication range to 3, which will basically mean if you roll a 18, 19, or 20, it'll be still will be a complication, but at least you'll have the opportunity to get rid of it, and then make task roll a 1, because you're only rolling 1 dice. You're just re-rolling that 1, and then click on the roll button again, and hopefully you roll not a complication. And you guys are down to 7 momentum now.
Alright, I'm gonna try this again.
Yep. Oh, you got it. Yep. All right. So.
And that tips us over into success. Yep.
Yep. So you've got it, and you are reading, like, your readings are going crazy on your medical tricorder, because it's like, hey, you know, this guy's wearing full body armor. You know, it's designed to prevent and reflect sensors, but you are detecting human life sign under all this armor, not a hunter. Oh, and as far as the injuries, that's probably the most important thing.
Well, that's a little peculiar.
As far as the injuries, there are a few plasma burns, but for the moment, it seems this individual seems to be unconscious, but not too badly injured. It seems he maybe took a bump to the noggin at some point and then went out for a bit. So the injuries can be more or less easily dealt with. Probably the most interesting thing is that he's human.
And there's no hint of the
Pricks will
hunter.
look around for.
Sorry, what was that?
Okay.
Pricks will dig around for a dermal regenerator and relay that it is a human, which is very, very odd.
Okay.
Okay, can
Lieutenant.
I say to Chow, can you come in with me? And I put the shield back up. I want to take off the helmet.
And both of you are inside the force field, right?
If the dude who, yeah,
Okay.
Lieutenant,
I'm
I don't
bring
recommend-
it. That's why I recommended bring us.
I don't recommend before he regains consciousness. The helmet only removes some of his extraordinarily difficult to counter technology. We may wish to strip him entirely and then put him in our own clothing and return his equipment to him once his intentions have been determined.
Yes. Doctor, can you come in and help me?
Okay, so all 3 of you are in there, right? Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. So you take off the helmet, right? Is there anything you're gonna do before that, or are you doing that first?
Soth would recommend
Take
that the deflector shield, the bit that allows him to do the weird teleporting,
Right.
all of that goes first.
All that tech. Yep. Okay. You take. I'll start with that actually, because that's more
I'm
interesting.
going.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna load up a hypo spray with sedative.
Okay, yeah, that's a free action. It's that you just and it's he's out. He'll be out for a while regardless. But so yeah, you take off the gloves and the gauntlets and like all the armor, and you start to see scars and lots of scars. And you know, like I said, human flesh, Caucasian. You even see a few tribal tattoos that you're not really sure. This definitely doesn't fit their culture. And on one of his fingers you find just a regular ring, like a golden ring. And then you finally take the helmet off and sorry, I can't help myself. You find that it is this man, War Admiral Tavel, a Dren clone who you have met before.
Okay.
Lockdown.
Yep. Captain, lockdown medical.
Captain Eldon responds, Roger that, locking down medical, no one in or out. Transporters offline as well. Should we go all the way to intruder alert, or do you think you have it contained?
We have it contained. We have a drone clone on our ship in sickbay.
Alright, nobody is able to leave that sick bay until further notice. We're also cutting communication until we can establish a more secure subspace link to somebody who may or may not be infected. I will get back with you shortly, and then he cuts communication.
Yep. He says now we had to lock down the sickbay for the particular reason he can overpower us. So let's get out of the force field now with the gear, so he doesn't have anything.
Very good, Lieutenant.
While you guys are...
And once they're
Sorry, go ahead.
once they're out of the force field, Soth will mutter something slightly to himself. It's very much a under his breath comment, but it's words to the effect of, "I sometimes feel like half the population of the quadrant are Dren clones."
Back on the bridge, you guys are about to lock on with a tractor beam when you guys get that call, and then Captain Eldon tells Karava to hold on the tractor beam idea. We need to make another scan, and I'm gonna have actually Johnson make a reason and science scan, difficulty 2. I'm gonna assist with the ship. He's like, we gotta make sure there's nothing else over there that could cause us harm. We know how these people are.
Yep. I will you nah.
You better at least get one success. Okay, there you go. So you get 2 momentum, so you're at 1 bonus momentum. You're scanning, and because you are getting closer, I mean, you're about to lock them with a tractor beam, so you're a lot closer. And as you're scanning, and you're just continuously scanning, you detect not only this inverse tachyon kind of core that seems to be about to go critical, but you also detect a small, minute amount of positronic energy.
Captain, I detect positron energy. It's minute. It's very small if you don't scan for it. Do an in-depth scan.
Positronic energy? What's he doing with a android? Okay, we need to figure out if it's friend or foe, though. If we could barely contain a Dren clone, we're probably not going to be able to contain another android. But then he looks over to you, to his android science officer, and he's like, no offense. We'll have to transport it directly to the brig with a level, I don't know, 9 force field. He looks over to the engineer, Deason, and says, you think you can make that transport even without a life sign? there, Tully?
I give you the coordinates, Tully.
Yeah, my internet's like going in and out, man. Go ahead.
Yep, just that'll be reason and engineering. Difficulty is going to be 2. I will assist with the ship.
I got a 1 and a 2.
Okay, it's going to be.
Okay.
So that's 4 successes. So you guys get 2 more momentum. So that puts you up to 3 bonus momentum, and you transport something into a brig. And the reports come back from the brig saying that something was transported into the brig. And then the Republic... Karava, if you want to lock on with the tractor beam to kind of sway it away from the planet. It's
could you do one for my character sheet for me?
Sure.
At the moment? I can't access it at the moment. Sorry about that.
Let's see. Karava, control, security. Wow, you got 3 successes. You know what? I'm going to say you needed 3 successes, because let me roll for the ship too, though. Because you are trying to, like, slingshot it away from the planet. Okay. So you lock onto this other ship, and you just adjust its trajectory, but the ship starts breaking apart even further. But once you release the tractor beam, all the debris kind of just floats out into space. You don't really have to worry about it. And then after a few moments, the ship explodes and then implodes, and then all the tachyon energy just kind of implodes before it once again explodes into a shockwave. But the shockwave doesn't really... actually, let me get a evasive maneuvers action from the con. It'll be daring and con, difficulty 1, to kind of outmaneuver and outrun this shockwave, which isn't going to have much of an effect on the planet because of how far away it is, but you guys are still closer.
Okay.
I will roll for the ship.
I think I did it.
Oh yeah, that's probably good. Let's see, con. It's weird this ship has a con of 1. Alright, so yep, you guys get 2 bonus momentum, so you're up to 5 bonus momentum. At some point I'm gonna have to start taking that stuff away from you guys. Basically, yeah, you guys outmaneuver this shockwave and everything seems fine, and now you're able to head back to the planet. The captain says, Khan, plot a course back to Gamma Starlight 1. And then he stands up, thinking for a moment. He looks over to Karava and Johnson, and he says, and Theizan, the engineer, because he's probably going to need an engineer as well. He says, let's go down to the brig and see what we've got.
Yes, sir.
Sweetly, and get off this fight with this. When the
Wow, everybody's audio is just garbage today. You know what? It's probably the stream. Let me...
I don't know, but like I keep on getting booted, and like it's booting me on and off. I think it's my internet, but it's not my internet. I think.
Am I coming through?
I think it's the internet for y'all.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, but am I coming through
are you
just fine?
on-
I'm not noticing anything on my end besides what's coming through from y'all.
yeah,
No, you're fine.
It's
Tully,
the same as me.
are you on a mobile device? And if so, are you tabbing to anything else?
Oh, I am. Well, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Okay, if you're using Gilded on a mobile device and you tab to anything else, it'll you out of a voice room anytime you tab out of Gilded.
No, we have wind, so it's booting me on and off.
Okay.
yeah, he knows
Fair
about that other thing because he has to deal with that all the time. But for Karava, for Guy, I don't know his just came in really bad for me, but I don't know.
I think it may be the internet.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Carl say yes, and speak about fighting when he wakes up and says, she's like this.
All I really heard was that okay or something along those lines. I swear.
Sorry, bro.
I mean, I thought I had the worst internet ever, but
You haven't been to Australia yet.
I'd like to someday.
I would not. All right, so in sick bay, or not sick bay, in the brig, we'll start there. You guys arrive, and this is what you see. Some sort of what looks to be a machine, some kind of android or robot. Its face and head seem to be kind of almost just boring and non-existent. It looks like whoever made it was not concerned at all with faces at all. So that's kind of what they made. And if you can't see it, obviously let me know. But oh, let me grab Eldon real quick. Where's Eldon? There he is. Eldon walks in, and he looks over to the security officers who were there and says, "Has this thing moved at all?" And they just shake their head no. He looks over to Tali. He looks over to you, to Thiezen. He says, "Oh, Tali's gone." And Tali's back. Welcome back. He says, Thiezen, take a look at this android. See what you can make of it. It seems to be offline for the moment. Hopefully it stays that way for a while.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. What am I rolling?
Well, let's see. Roll insight and engineering, or reason engineering. Either one is fine. And then, does Johnson want to help?
I got a 12 and a
Yes.
16.
Okay, so that's one success, I think.
Yeah, it's one success.
All right. And
Now your highest target should be a 15, so yeah.
And let me know, Johnson, when you roll. So that's two successes.
I rolled a 1.
Alright. So you guys are kind of looking it over, and there's a lot of places on this supposed machine where it doesn't make sense how they put it together. It looks like instead of taking a bunch of parts and putting it together onto one part like you would normally do with an android or a robot, that it looks more like somebody has basically taken taken some kind of material and fabricated it around something, and then like kind of welded it or bolted it rather than just putting parts together. It almost looks reminiscent of like plate armor, but you can't find any seams or anywhere where this thing would, where you'd be able to remove any of it. You are detecting some electroplasma and some positronic energy. However, when you get to the head area, you're not really able to. You're not able to open it, and you're not able, unless you use like some kind of laser saw or something. You're not going to be able to get into it. Your scans are basically telling you that although that is where most of the positronic energy is, there is also biological neural energy. So while you guys... sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll think about how to do it.
Okay. And while you guys are thinking about that, I'm going to jump to the sick bay. Oops, wrong one. Make sure everything else on my end's looking good. Okay.
So who's left in charge of the bridge?
That's a good question. Let me. I guess it's
Probably the guy sitting next to me.
probably. Let's see. Done. Gone. Yeah, I'm gonna have. Well, more than likely they have an officer of some sort around. Let's see. Oh, I know who I'll use. Staff NPCs. Yeah, we'll have Lieutenant Commander Glav step on board. He's the security chief. And then, yeah. So back to sick bay. What is your guys' first, Lieutenant Vivek? What is your your first order of business at this point?
Okay. Pretty much we have to make sure he doesn't die, but we can't go in. I'm gonna restrict it to us three going into the force field, so no one else goes into that force field other than us three who are trapped in here.
Okay.
But we have to make sure that we go in with a security person, and I look at Chow when I say that.
Okay.
He'll nod, but he is the security guy here, so yeah, he nods.
So, Doctor, when you're doing some tests up close and personal, make sure you bring in the security.
Well, is there anything you recommend that I do? Because he'll live on his own. I mean, he's not that badly injured.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want me to take blood or something like that, I'd be happy to.
We might as well and do some more in-depth scans while we got the chance.
You know what?
Furthermore,
Sorry, go ahead.
we've removed this gentleman from all of his equipment and armor. He may be a drone clone, but he is still a prisoner, and it is our obligation to treat him with some basic level of decency. We should probably fabricate some element of clothing for him to preserve his modesty.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys have done that in the intermittent time between scenes. You don't have to worry about that. In fact,
Yeah.
how much momentum do y'all have? 5? Yeah, spend one of those bonus momentums.
Yeah, we spend one of those bonus
And that way
momentums.
you guys have already done that, and you don't have to worry about physically actually going to do it. But go ahead and give me another reason and medicine scan, and Vivek, you could assist with science or medicine. This is going to be a scale difficulty. Scale difficulties mean that as long as you get 1 success, you'll get some information, but if you get 5 successes, you'll get all the information, or in this case, probably just most of the information. But
I'd say before they enter, I'd say the last clone that we encountered had like some sort of weird eye. The same like eye patch, but he had like something under his eye.
But can you make sure to take some of the bonus momentum?
didn't you already do that?
Yeah, we've already done one for the clothing.
Oh, for the roll.
Okay. Oh yeah, so when you and if you do take the eye patch off, you do see like one of his eyes is laser, basically like a cyborg.
How did we not see that in the medical scans?
There's a lot you didn't see in the medical scans, trust me.
Alright. Let's see, I'd like to see as much as I can, so I guess I will grab 2 of our extra momentum and slap something on him.
Okay. And Vivek, if you want to assist.
That's 3 on my end.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. In this case, since he's lying there and you've been there a while, I'll roll for the ship to have the ship assist as well. This will give you a more in-depth information. You know, the ship's using like its CAT scan type of full body scanner kind of thing on him. Give you a more in-depth. Still not gonna give you like everything because he is a Drain clone and they're basically genetic monsters.
Basically, Khan on crack.
Yeah. They don't really care about like all the super strength and stuff. They more care about like, ooh, I like this ability from this species. I'll have some of that. I'll have some of that. All right. So with 3 successes, you do find minute amounts of dry, that hunter DNA in him, even though 99.9% of him is human. You also find, as you're looking closer at all those scars on his flesh, you find that some of his, like, especially, where his heart would be, parts of his neck, more areas that are normally relatively tender, are actually strengthened with the DNA of other species, like Zeronite or Jem'Hadar or Klingon. Basically, he's kind of like an infusion of multiple species, but he is still primarily human. It's the majority of, it's like 1%, and it's all kind of like external, superficial stuff that is kind of the 1% of his other alien DNA. Most of him is human. You also detect within his arms nanotechnology that basically form some of his arteries and veins. You can tell based on like tiny machines in his arms that he can use them to shoot out grappler hooks. Oh, and obviously that cyborg guy too. And that's like the most of what you're able to kind of detect as of right now.
Doctor, I hesitate to recommend this, but do you believe that you will be able to surgically remove the eye and hooks that could be used as weapons?
That's a good question.
I was actually going to ask you if I'd be allowed to do that. So, yeah, I'd be happy to try.
Yeah.
You know what? Spend a bonus momentum and I'll give you an answer. I'll give you the answer to that question so that the medical cadet can already know the answer to that. The eye, that's relatively easy. It's just a piece of machinery. You could literally yank that out, and as long as he's not awake when you do it, he won't be able to shoot you with it. Okay. The veins, they're nanotechnology. As soon as you start trying to mess with them, they're probably going to disperse into his arms somewhere else, and you probably will never find them. So that's going to be a bit more tricky.
Okay.
Perhaps. Oh no.
Yeah, I will look at the other two and like. I can take care of the eye. Could you guys possibly rig up something? I don't know, an electromagnetic pulse or something that might get rid of these, or turn off these nanites for a second? If we need it.
Soth will turn to the lieutenant and say, "That is beyond my ability, but if that is something that you do, rogue pulse might kill him. I suspect if we really nearly shut down nanite functions in his arterial system, but perhaps we can find some way of taking control or deactivating that element of their functionality."
I think the best bet would be getting an engineer to do that.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna jump to the bridge. Don't worry, I'm coming back to. I'm coming back to the bridge or the brig in a minute. Let me do the bridge real quick because there's only one player there. So, Cadet Lex, you're gonna make a final maneuver to orbit Gamma Starlight 1. It's gonna be control and con difficulty 1. The ship is gonna assist to just get a standard orbit so that you guys can beam back down. Oh wow.
Oh.
You're happy that the co-pilot's there with you. She takes over as you kind of flummox that up a bit. Let's see. Where's
Why did they put the warp controls right there? That seems counter. Oh, my bad.
She's just like, aren't you a pilot? That's how you do
I
it.
used
Look,
to-
it's the orange button. The red button is warp drive. God.
It was too pretty. My bad.
And back on the brig, or back in the brig, Captain Eldon gets a call from the bridge, from the security chief saying, we've approached Gamma Starlight 1 entering orbit. And Captain Eldon says, good, we're going to have to... And before he says anything else, the creature sits up. Is anybody still in the brig with the creature, with this robot creature? Or are you guys standing outside?
No,
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
outside.
I just wanted to make sure. It stands up and it turns, but it's twitching. Its neck is twitching, its shoulder is twitching, and it says in a kind of obviously robotic, digitized voice, where is he? Looking between the four of us. Who speaks first? Nobody?
Oh, wait, I think, am I?
Where's he?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, it should be much better now. I think I went to the brig later, I think.
No, you're in the brig now. Or you're at the brig now. You're not in the jail cell, but you're there. Do you wanna say anything, or?
Where's he?
The being says, War Admiral Tavel, he was with me in my ship. Where is he?
He's in sick bay.
I see. I am here for diplomacy, and then as it says diplomacy, it starts twitching. Diplomacy, see, with the Federation and Starfleet.
Excuse me, would you let me fix you up? Because you're kinda, would you mind let me, fix you, me and my, friend here fix you up? So you're functioning at full capacity.
Is somebody vacuuming on your end, Mac?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is like a perfect storm of everything going wrong at once. But basically, the creature or the entity says, I will be fine. I must reunite with War Admiral Tavel first. I am co-administrator Menace Sunk Phonem Ixi of the Saphir Cybermancy Cyberocracy.
Well, he's kind of injured right now. We'll get to him later. We just need to attend to your needs right now.
Very well. And the creature sits back down. But just for good measure, because you might roll a complication, it'd be funny. Roll presence and command. I'll just say difficulty 1. It's not being super hostile at the moment. I'll let my character, Captain Eldon, assist, since he is the captain. That's his fucking job.
And I'm gonna use that bonus, one bonus momentum.
Okay. Alright, well, he assisted. 3. So you got back up to 2 bonus momentum. Yep, it sits down, and you guys, I guess, are waiting for Tavel. Back in sickbay. Have you guys just if I remember correctly, you guys were talking about trying to get some kind of EMP going so that you could knock out the nanites. Is that where you're still headed?
That was a suggestion, but there's also conventional roll of the eye.
Well, you can remove the eye with a task roll. That's pretty easy.
Yes,
but the
I would like to take the eye out, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make a control and medicine difficulty 3 roll to remove the eye.
How many momentum do we have?
Got 8 conventional, 2 bonus. You might as well eat all the bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will eat all the bonus then, and start working on this eyeball.
Ah,
Wow.
bonus back.
2, 3, 4, 5. It was a tie. That was a contested roll, by the way. So as you hold on.
Oh.
So as you start to use the laser to cut around and remove the eye, his other eye opens and he says, "Are you having fun in there?"
Rex keeps holding the laser, she's like, yeah, I suppose I'm having quite a bit of fun.
And
What about you?
that's when the eye stalk is severed and you're able to just remove it out. And he blinks a bit and says, well, it's not my best day ever, I must admit. He looks around and says, I know nobody's gonna believe this, but I come in peace. And that is... Go ahead, Matt.
He goes, we're just doing this to make sure you aren't going to attack anyone on the ship.
Alright, so I need to take a 5 or probably 10-minute break, and then I'll be right back. So if you guys want to discuss or take a break or discuss what's going on, and hopefully maybe some of the internet issues or audio issues magically gets fixed in 10 minutes, that'd be great. But I will be back in 10.
Yeah, my internet is shit right now. We have a windstorm. I'm on the west coast. It really sucks right now.
Yeah, if a storm's happening, you can't really fix that problem.
I know. I got booted like 4 times, and like, it sucks.
I had to catch a train, but I'm at where I was going now. So
Yeah, connection when you're catching a train in Australia is pretty shit. The service drops in and out.
Okay, got a question.
Yes.
I noticed on the timeline it did mention these clones, but didn't really explain exactly why they were so dangerous. What's with them?
Okay, so the Dren clones are...
Yes, I would also like some cliff notes on this.
Yeah, so the Dren clones are in charge of the infamous allegiance, with sort of lead one being the overall head. The infamous allegiance as a whole has got access to technology that is borderline incomprehensible to the Federation. From a mechanical standpoint, you can't take them on. Like, their ships are immune to our weapons, they go incredibly fast, their technology beats the Federation everywhere, they've got out-of-character, like, MacGuffin armor a mile thick. The Dren clones themselves, they sort of inherit memories a la the Wayuns of the world, torture. But they are also hyper-intelligent. They are genetically engineered to have the positive aspects of a vast number of species in them. They also frequently have nanotechnology and robot technology in them that makes them incredibly tough to take on. They'll come out from stimulants like that. They're basically immune to the stun setting and quite a few of the kill settings as well. They've got everything going for. I don't know. I don't
and
know if
then
you've ever
multi.
seen- I don't know if you've
And
ever
plus-
seen Rick and Morty, but imagine a more cartoonishly evil Rick.
I was
And plus
thinking,
there are
I was thinking
multi-
Borgs that were all that were actually individuals, not an actual full-fledged collective, but where they
And-
also are biologically engineered in addition to technologically engineered.
And plus, they're multi-universe enemy. They
Yeah,
aren't just
that-
restricted to one universe. They're in a multi-dimension universes.
Yeah, so their empire has resources beyond our imagining. Because, as I said, as Max said, they've got the resources of several alternate realities and multiple galaxies in those alternate realities.
And plus, there's like multiple drone clones that, like there is one specific that all drone clones are afraid of, and you guys don't know it. None of yous do.
Yeah, we won't get so much in that. And generally speaking, if you kill one drone clone, another one can just step in and take over or take whatever's necessary. Their biggest weakness tends to be that they are insane, but they are clever insane. They're also completely brutal and utterly callous. The last time we bumped into one, he wiped out several million people because he got bored.
Well,
Yeah, that's how crazy they are.
Common knowledge throughout Starfleet. Okay.
Yeah, like all Academy students get briefed on this guy because he is like national security threat number 1.
They
And
can
in terms of-
basically walk through all of our defenses like it's nothing.
Oh yeah, like since we know he's got nanotech in his blood, do not be surprised if he just stands up, snaps his fingers, and our force fields go down, and he just walks out.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
Huh.
And yeah, I definitely know that they can easily do that because I definitely played like a drone clone in another game. So yeah, they are definitely crazy.
Yeah, so
Isn't
far,
that right, Tyler?
like yeah, so
Isn't-
far in all of my interactions with Dren clones, I at least have never seen a Dren clone beaten. Just hope they decide to leave you alone.
Mac and I actually took down a Dren clone, and I took the head of it.
Yeah,
I miss the days when Q would mess with us. At least he wasn't mean.
Oh, we got a pet queue on my bridge on the infamous. Isn't that
I
right,
remember.
Yep.
Tully?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
a pet cute. I'm not even going to get into that. I do actually though remember one time when I did manage to consume a Dren clone in his own time travel torture trap, but that was in an alternate reality.
Oh, don't get me started on a different character I have that is like playing. You won't even think he's a Dren clone. He could easily walk past you, and he's helping the Federation. He's technically a Dren clone, but doesn't look anything like a Dren clone. So he's actually helping the Federation on taking down the infamous Legion. Because
Also, the word clone may give you certain presuppositions that do not apply to Dren clones. They are not genetic copies.
I kind of figured that with
Yeah.
incorporating DNA from other species.
Yeah, and they look nothing alike. They have incredibly different base. Like the word clone shouldn't really be applied. They're more just genetically engineered from scratch.
Yeah, I played 2 different clones, and yeah, both of them are different in either way. One's more crazier than the other. The other is just more helpful to Starfleet, and the other is like crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of the crazy, they have a very cunningly done, very artfully done, but it's also an element of force because absolutely no one can stand up to them. Expansionist empire, as was referenced, and it's expansionist when it doesn't need to be. Like, there's no reason why it needs these resources. There doesn't appear to be any like threat it's running from or anything along those lines. It's expansionist because the Drens are crazy, and they do it for fun, basically.
Put it this way, my character. Put it this way, in the TIP campaign, where one of the episodes what we played as, put it this way, we put radiation on all the weapons in one ship. Everyone ran in to go get the weapons. Well, they lit up like Chernobyl. So my character is standing there, who's a Dren clone, just laughing his head off because the captain's face was visibly horrified. Yeah. Yeah. Because, yeah.
You have a big nuke blast or a radiation blast.
Yeah. And my character thought it'd be a good idea to radiate the captain, and it went off like a Chernobyl.
That's lovely. What a nice character you have.
Yeah. Some of the crazy shit we get up to on that one.
I know. Huru's just the brutal killer. Like, he doesn't care.
Yep.
Yes, Captain. I will kill them all.
I love it when you get to play that and you put on the voice, and it's really funny.
But
I try to do it as much as possible.
Going more immediately to our situation of this Dren clone saying we come in peace, he's either lying through his teeth, or it's genuine, but it's only going to be temporary. So it'll be a case of, we come in peace until, for whatever reason, what we're dealing with has been dealt with, and then we'll rip your face off.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm up on the bridge.
I have a suggestion, and this is coming from an engineer's standpoint. Maybe we can use those transporter enhancers, like on the outside, so if he begins to be swirly or not, we can transport him outside of the craft by any means necessary, if that makes any sense.
I've got a dumb idea for being able to lock him down, but I don't know how well it'll work.
Oh, please go ahead.
Modifying the gravitational plating under where we're keeping him to set it to like 10 Gs or something like that.
That, I mean, 10 Gs won't kill him.
Now,
maybe.
something that could actually lock him down and keep him from moving. Although it doesn't stop the internal technology, it could actually keep him from moving.
Hopefully so.
I don't know how far the MacGuffins go on him.
A deflector burst to nullify the nanites inside of the being?
Well, we'd have to put him in front of the deflector for that. Then again, I
Yeah.
think we've seen him before that Dren clones tend not to have much of a problem in a vacuum.
True.
Alright, so where were we?
We're trying to figure out how to stop the nanites in his system.
Okay. So, like he said, he just to reiterate, he said he's lying there. He said, you know, we come in peace. He wants to know where the co-administrator is. Where's the other lady I came with?
She's currently in the brig, and I'll contact. He goes over to the corner. Goes, Captain.
Yes, Lieutenant.
The drone clone woke up, and he is saying he's coming here for peace talks.
Sorry. No. Yeah. Okay. And what does he want?
He wants to know where the co-administrator is.
Yes. The other creatures in the brig, and they will remain where they are, both of them, until we know exactly why they're here.
Yep. Yes, sir.
And Tavel just looks around, and he looks over to, and remind me, Edgeford, if your character was one of the ones engaging in diplomacy with him before, correct?
Yes, if it's the same one, yeah.
It is. He looks at you and he says, I see you're back. You know, it must be the will of the prophets, us meeting again like this.
Soth wants to talk to this guy, but he knows that talking to Dren... It's like, you do not talk to the prisoner. You do not feed the prisoner. You do not interact with the prisoner. And so Soth is going to bing his mouth shut. As much as I'd really like to talk to him, it's a bad plan.
You know what? That sounds like a composure check to me. Let's see a presence and command difficulty. You know what? Let's make it contested, because he's trying to get you to say something.
All right.
So he's gonna roll his presence to your command, and I'm gonna give him a threat for a dice, and let's see what happens.
I'll consume.
Oh
the bonus
wow!
moment. Oh wow!
And he has
I
a
already
presence
started
of
the sentence
13.
of I'll consume the bonus moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it. Do it. Just for the entertainment.
Okay. Oh wow! And he just okay. So yeah, you could see that not getting a response from you actually kind of upsets him. he is
good.
He is just like, he grinds his teeth, and then he looks over to the medical cadet, and he says, now back to the person who enjoys sticking scalpels into people's eyeballs. How are you doing today?
Oh, you're talking to the cadets.
Go
ahead.
I don't talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Oh, I thought that you were saying that in character.
I don't know what Mac was saying.
No,
I don't know.
Interesting. How cute.
What was that?
Liz, I can't. You're breaking up a lot.
Yeah, both of you have a lag, so I need one of you to decide to wait for the other, I think. But not both of you, because then that won't work.
Liz, go first, I'd say.
Yeah, since he's directly talking to...
My day. Very interesting.
Sorry, your static is getting pretty bad. What was that?
How's your day going? Okay.
Well, it could be better, obviously. My own kingdom decided it didn't need me anymore. He looks back over to Chara and he says, I'm sure you will find that not very surprising. But it seems that I was rescued by the wonderful Federation, of course. That's not the most important thing, of course, though. But you know, you might want to open diplomatic relations with the Saphir, possibly with their co-administrator, because you know you have her in your brig. And then he looks over to Lieutenant Vivek, And you wanted to say something, Lieutenant?
So why all of a sudden diplomatic talks now, of all times?
Well, it's not me. It's the Saphir. I have what would we call it? A death date. Once I did what I did, we don't have to rehash it. We all know what I did. The infamous Allegiance and the Dominion thought that I was too much of a, Anyway. They decided to implant one of those damn nanites in me. In my brain. And they said, once I deliver my message to the Saphir and the Federation, it'll kill me. Well, I've delivered it to the Saphir. The Saphir didn't like it. So they decided that they were going to join the infamous Allegiance. Against my better judgment. Well, their co-administrator, who is equally in command of the Saphir cyberocracy, decided that she wanted nothing to do with it. So we fled. And now I'm here, delivering the message to you. The Saphir have joined the infamous Allegiance. The Gamma Quadrant is theirs. You have a very short time to leave, or you will not have a planet to stand on. That's about it.
Doctor? Do a more in-depth scare. Do a more in-depth scan.
Are you scanning for something directly, specifically?
And then he talks about.
Okay. That'll be reason and medicine. It's going to be a difficulty 5. These things are intended to be impossible to detect. The fact that he's told you he has one should be enough, but if you want to spend a bunch of momentum to get a bunch of dice, or spend a determination, you're more than welcome to verify the scan on a tricorder with the assistance of the ship.
And
Could I actually get a determination by saying everyone can be helped in some way by trying to turn off this kill switch?
Let's
no.
see. Hold on, let me look at the value, because
Oh, is that not how they work?
It depends how it's worded. Everyone can be helped in some way. So that would be useful to, if you were trying to help him, if you wanted to turn off the nanite. But to find it, that doesn't really turn it off, so it won't really help him. Yeah. Let's see what else. Maybe a straight line, maybe the shortest distance between 2 points, but it's not the most interesting. That might be one that I could definitely see, because the straight line is that you're trying to scan for this specific link to make sure he's telling the truth, so I could definitely say that is something.
Yeah.
Is that something you want to...
Yeah, I will use that for a determination point.
Okay. So you have 2 automatic successes. The ship...
automatic success, yeah.
...did not succeed in helping. And do you want to spend any momentum?
Yes,
and I'll
you
go
do.
ahead and use the 2 extra momentum.
Okay, so the 2 bonus momentum... Ooh.
Yes, I would do
that. Vivek, do you want to assist? You would
Yes.
You would need to get a crit on your assist to detect it with a tricorder.
So insight or reason?
Either one, honestly. Science or medicine, either one is fine. It's, the likelihood of getting a critical success is so low that I'll give you whatever your best stats are. Yeah. And the ship is already assisted, unless Charon can think of a reason to assist or a way to assist that makes sense. Like, you could detect nanites in him, but you just can't detect that one specific one.
I go, okay. Okay, who's the... He looks through the list of people who can actually pick up on working with something like a brain, or know how to pick up things within the brain itself.
So as you go to a console to look that up, War Admiral Tavel just chuckles. He's like, "You don't have time for that." Oh, yes, my time has come. And he looks over to Charon and he says, "I bet you're enjoying this, aren't you?"
Okay.
Soth is determined to not give him the satisfaction of a response. He's not smiling, he's not glowering, he's not doing anything. We are blank poker face.
You know what? I want another composure check. Presence in command against his presence in command. And I'm spending another threat.
Alright, I'll
That's
consume
better.
the bonus momentum. Ooh. So yeah, I'll consume the bonus momentum, and it's a command. I'm just checking. Oh, no. I do have an ability. Okay. Yeah, since it's a fluff thing, I won't consume real momentum.
Right.
Ooh,
Oh.
I will, however,
You want to reroll that?
a momentum to like reroll that
Yeah, okay.
complication.
With
Yeah.
a complication of 3. Gotcha. Complication
Yep.
range of 3.
Well, actually, who wins a draw?
I asked you for the check, so I'll say you win a draw.
Oh, in that case, I'll just pay with 2.
Okay. You guys exchange looks, and I don't know if anyone here has ever, and I don't even like asking this question because it's uncomfortable as hell, but I don't know if anyone's ever looked into someone's eyes as they died before, but as you look into his eyes and he's smiling at you, they slowly start to go cold, and then his smile fades, and everybody realizes that he is dead.
Once all his vitals have gone flat, and we're very sure that he's dead according to all the monitors,
Yes.
Soth will turn around and say, well, at least that's some piece of evidence that he was telling the truth. And we might want to get on with
Yeah.
the autopsy whilst it's fresh.
Yeah. Captain,
Captain here.
the Drankine's telling the truth.
About what?
Diplomacy.
I see. Alright.
We're gonna be doing...
Go ahead.
We're gonna be doing an autopsy. We're gonna need we're gonna be doing an autopsy up here.
Okay, well, in that case, we're going to transport down to the planet with the Saphir diplomat and try to figure out how we can postpone whatever Saphir tragedy is coming our way. Captain Eldridge. Sorry, go ahead.
Captain, he did say the Saphir has joined the infamous Legion.
I know. I mean, I assumed it was something like that. So, like I said, we'll just have to figure out how to avoid it.
Plus, can I borrow Cadet Johnson for send Cadet Johnson up for the autopsy to work with the...
Sure. Although we might need a scientist to deal with this android. I don't know if we all speak its language.
I may be able to come down to help with that.
Fair enough. We'll be beaming down to the planet till the campus's conference room shortly.
Yes, sir. He trades place with Cadet Johnson.
Okay.
As the lieutenant is doing that, like once the communication is ended, because you got the lieutenant mid-comm to the captain, Lieutenant, might I make a slight cautionary observation?
Yes?
The fact that he died meant that he was telling the truth about him being killed when he sent the message. I would not be in the least bit surprised if the infamous Allegiance was willing to sacrifice a Dren clone in order to convincingly dupe us into something else. Just because he was telling the truth about his death doesn't mean he was telling the truth about other things. We cannot assume he was lying, but we cannot assume he was truthful either.
I agree. I prefer to actually, looking up right here on the database, Johnson is the closest thing to actually working within the brain itself. So if he notices anything abnormality within the brain, he will be able to tell us.
Very good. Do you want me to remain here with the corpse in case it somehow has some form of... Well, we've seen Borg get up. Yeah, we've seen Borg get up. We've seen sharks twitch and bite long after they're dead.
I reckon it's safer to leave you here with the corpse just in case somebody tries to kidnap the Dren clone's body.
Let's see. Very well, Lieutenant.
Good day.
Alright.
And, yeah.
So, but since the two of you, since Jaron and Cadet Prix are remaining in the sickbay with the dead Dren clone, is there anything else that you guys want to do before? Because this is pretty much the last scene of sickbay that we'll probably do. So is there anything else that you guys want to do before we move on?
Not immediately, no. Soth's just on full alert. There's plenty of stuff he'd do in downtime, but not during this crisis.
Okay, and Prix? Prix, you are muted if you're trying to talk. I don't know if you are, or if you can even hear me.
Is there any hope at all for resuscitation?
I mean, you can you can try anything you want. Let me actually, before, since you're going to actually try that, let me look at his so many talents first to see if any of those will help. Oof, yes. So, how much momentum do y'all have? 7? If you spend a... Actually, let me check something real quick. No. Okay. No, that wouldn't work. Oof, that's a horrible one. Immune to vacuum of space.
I mean, if he did, he did.
Well, if you spend a momentum, I'll give you some information that could potentially help with that. And then you can decide if that's what you want to do or not. Because it's the information that's more useful than the actual role to try to actually, you know,
Yeah.
get him alive.
Spend the momentum.
If it's just the one, yeah.
Okay. So although he is dead, your scanners are telling you that his nanites are replicating within his body. He may not stay dead for long.
Is Lieutenant...
No, only those two are there at the moment. That's why I specifically said those two. So what do y'all do?
So, I think this guy's gonna get back up again.
Well, if that's the case, we need to find a way to shut those nanites down immediately. It's almost certainly a dupe. There is no way that the infamous Allegiance would have overlooked one of their own Dren clones' ability to resuscitate when installing a kill switch.
And
Yeah.
one of the things I sort of imagine for Prix is she's kind of Dr. Flox-ish. If I said with my, like, alternative medicine, folk medicine thing, that she had, say, an electric eel in sickbay, Could I like slap that in his eye socket and see if that shorts anything out?
I just want.
I love it.
I just want to see that visual. I don't even care if that works. I just want to see you do that right now.
She just kind of rummages around in a tank with like a big
You know
glove
what?
on.
Spend a momentum. You don't even have to roll a dice. Just spend a momentum, and you do whatever you say you do, and it's fine.
Yes, do it. Do it.
Yeah, she reaches and grabs like a sluggish thing that's glowing with like blue sparks, and she shoves it in the eye socket where the laser
God.
was
Oh wow.
to like short circuit the rest of his
Right.
body out.
Okay. Let me just look at all his. Oh my God, too many talents to look through. Yeah, no. Electricity shoots through him. That's definitely, for sure.
Does it wake him up faster though?
Well, that may be a thing. That's why I'm looking, because. Oh wait, second wind. Let's see. You may spend a determination to remove all stress you have accumulated. But he's already dead, so I don't think he can do that now. Let's see. I'm looking for something more reflexive, or more of a trait really than a talent, I guess. Something that would be natural to him as he is. Which none of which really helps after death, unfortunately. I mean, besides the nanites, that's really the only thing. But because they're... Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So, the electricity that you put, that the eel shoots through him, short circuits all of the nanites. So you no longer have to worry about any nanites. At least not the ones that are replicating. However, you start to see the head of the eel. By the way, what color is this electricity that this eel has? Is it like white, blue, golden, or something
I'm gonna
else?
say it's blue.
Blue, okay. A red light begins to glow from the eel's head, and it turns away from this guy's head, where near his brain, where it just was, and then it turns on you and starts trying to attack you.
It immediately step in, rip it out, crush it.
Okay.
There's a clip I'm looking for which shows this, but carry on.
Yeah, no, go roll a daring and security against an eel. It is electric though, so I'm gonna say, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's contested, and you know what? I'm just gonna spend a whole ton of threat to get a bunch of dice, because I want you to get electrocuted.
I'm good at control security. I'm not so brilliant at daring security, so I'm going to give myself 3 extra dice to roll back up to the maximum 5.
Okay.
I will do that through threat.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Thank you.
So that's 3 points of threat.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And
oh wow. Yeah.
That's good.
You not only that, but you not only beat it as far as successes go, but it got a complication. So as you yank it and start to like whatever you do, what are you doing? Slamming it on the floor, stepping on it? How are you trying to kill it?
Rip it out. So it's I keep it away from the good doctor. Throw it on the floor, all inside the field, and I don't have a phaser on me.
Right.
So it is very much then heel stomp.
Okay.
With my rubber-soled knockout.
Oh dear. It's gonna be hard to replace that.
So, you take it, you throw it down, you're stomping on it, and it's squirming. Like even after you've crushed its head, it's still moving around. But then you hear and you see like a small pop, and its tiny little brain explodes and it dies. That was the complication. The nanite basically killed it. Basically the nanite helped you kill it.
Excellent.
But you definitely made it so that it was. You're not really sure if the nanite killed it because it was no longer useful, or if the nanite just malfunctioned because you stepped on it. But either way, the two of you working together killed it. And now Dren, War Admiral Tavel, is properly dead. There's no way for resuscitation, unfortunately. His entire internal organs, like after a while, like after you do your AAR or whatever, you'll discover like he has that Klingon physiology of like multiple organs, like multiple hearts, stuff like that. But they've all basically been destroyed by the nanites trying to replicate. So it's like it's just a husk in there. There's really no way to kind of wake him back up from that. Now that's when Cadet Johnson enters.
What happened in here?
To be honest, I just assumed that the nanites were going to make a bomb or something.
What happened in here? I use she's trying to make a eel soup, sushi.
Eel soup.
He was about to suscitate. This was ended, and then some potential contamination of him ended up in this. He gestures to the smear on the floor. Immediately and crushed it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
my breeding project has kind of hit a roadblock, but that'll be okay.
Yes. I would rather your breeding project hit a roadblock than it hit your face.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that.
I'm apparently helping you with the autopsy. Apparently I'm supposed to work on the brain, but
Well, not much of that left anymore. Now, I'll give you a little bit more information, which you guys will discover eventually anyway. And some of you already know this from previous games, but when you eventually do find traces of the nanite that killed the eel and the Dren clone, you discover that it's part biological and part mechanical. There's a third part, but you don't detect the third component within it because it's no longer there. Jumping back to the brig, as the ship, the ship is now in orbit. Captain Eldon has basically invited the co-administrator to transport down for some diplomacy in their conference room. And is there anything that Karava or Ethan want to do or ask or say or with this co-administrator or Lieutenant Vivek before you guys transport down?
I guess maybe I'll ask it. Why was it with that weird clone guy?
He was sent to my people, the Saphir, Cyberocracy, to inform them and then she kind of thinks for a moment and she says, there is a gap in my memory. I remember fleeing my own people. I was with him.
hey,
Okay.
your people are now part of the infamous domain. Apparently.
That would explain why I fled. No doubt, most of my people do not wish to be a part of the infamous allegiance. We are merely efficient machines. We do not wish conquest.
Okay. So all of you people like androids or robots or whatever.
She kind of cocks her head at you and she says, or whatever.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, that sounds neat. We got an android in our crew. They got a big giant rock for a brain. Very fancy.
Interesting. You have many cultures in your organization. Many species. We too have many species.
Well, that's nice. I don't think Crowell can think of anything else to talk to the creature about, though. But the entity about.
The
So-
infamous Allegiance also has many species. I suppose it only matters how they acquire them. We all must acquire different species in different ways. Alright, so if you guys have no more questions or comments or anything, we're going to jump ahead to the... I don't actually think we have a conference lab on our planet. Or not a conference lab, a conference room. Let's see. We have a mess hall. Oh yeah, we have the command center. So I'm gonna move you guys to the close-up map. Are y'all? What do y'all see? Do y'all see the command center, or do y'all see the sign that says "zoom out" because it's really big, basically? You might see the sign. If so, then you'll just have to zoom out to 40%, and then you'll see the command center. I will move everyone's characters to the command center so that you know where your characters are.
There's science lab.
Are we back on the planet?
Yep, I moved you guys, or I should have. Yeah, you guys are moved there now.
Oh yeah. I see now. Yeah.
I found a classroom.
So zoom out to. You might have to zoom out. It's pretty much in the middle of the map. So you have to zoom out probably to like 10 before you get to like the actual.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
It was soft in the was soft with the Dren clone.
Yeah. I'm just having everyone come down
He's
to
dead.
the planet now.
Oh, no, I mean, was soft with the Dren clone, like when they were talking.
What do you mean?
Was soft with the Dren clone during
Yeah.
that encounter.
Yeah, it was Soth and
okay.
and Pricks.
Caravel soft. Did you study the nanotechnology? Or do you have any like scans of it?
We are process of doing.
That'd be very interesting technology to have for us to sort of adapt.
Seth kind of gives the Karava the sort of look, but he'll after a few moments he'll gather himself. Say yes, it would. We had that idea. It is being studied, I imagine, at a much more slow and deliberate place by pricks and I imagine various commissioned officers as well in time. They will not leave the dissection of a Dren clone to cadets. This is far too golden an opportunity.
You guys would probably be able to observe as like an actual doctor, opens the body, and like I said, all the stuff I described you would see. Like you would recognize different species livers within his body, being torn apart by the nanites that were trying to grow and replicate. And you would see just how horrible his insides look after being so genetically altered. And just seeing how his body was created, you'd be like, if I had to attach like a level of resistance to like a difficulty of penetrating his outer membrane of epidermis, it'd be well over 10. He is basically, I mean, his title's War Admiral. He's definitely built to do war. However, now you have a corpse of a Drin clone to worry about. I don't know what you guys are going to do with it, other than the autopsy, but maybe burn it. I don't know.
I was gonna ask, was he physically altered? Like was he like genetically altered later, or like was it the clone body made before? Like, was it made genetically altered, or was it like a normal human? Then he
Right.
altered it later.
So that's going to require a momentum spend for it to obtain information, because that's something that the doctor may get by doing its autopsy, but they also may
Yeah.
not give it to you guys. So if you guys spend a momentum, I'll say that they tell you.
Yeah.
If you guys want. If you guys don't want to, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'd say spend it.
Anybody against spending
Yeah,
it?
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. It looks like it's 50-50. Some of it was definitely like he's born that way, like in a test tube, kind of created in a lab that way specifically, and then stuff like the nanite cables and the optical things, and some of the others, maybe some of the organs that were clearly surgically implanted. A lot of that was probably after the fact, after he'd already been like, a decorated admiral or something, and that was kind of like his reward to be a better person or whatever. That's their version of better people. So yeah, definitely, probably, I would say maybe not 50-50, probably like 70-30. 70% of it was him genetically grown that way. 30% was added after.
That's good. That's interesting. That's interesting to know.
Yeah. So you guys get to the command center, and training instructor Merzek walks in as Captain Eldon beams down, and he says, who is this? And the co-administrator says, I am co-administrator Manasanke Phonem Ixi of the Saphir Cyberocracy. And he just looks over to Eldon and then looks at all the cadets, and he says, do we have an alliance with them yet? And Captain Eldon turns and pulls Merzek aside and begins whispering to him. Does anybody want to do anything when that happens?
Lex is going to ask us
Yeah.
kind of a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks at the co-administrators like, your co-administrator? Does that mean there's another co-administrator?
Yes, more than likely. He is in charge of the Saphir Cyberocracy at this moment.
Okay.
There are many co-administrators. However, when the infamous Allegiance came and made their ultimatum, with the might of the Dominion and the Breen by their side, the Saphir Cyberocracy Council, the co-administrators, almost unanimously decided to join the infamous Allegiance. I did not. However, I would have been killed, so I left my world. So, after a few moments of them kind of speaking, they move back over. And training instructor Merzek walks over and starts whispering something to the Tellarite security chief as Captain Eldon just begins a traditional Federation speech about, oh yeah, diplomacy's great, and one big happy family. Both of them, as they're speaking to each other, kind of look surprised and kind of shocked, and then the Tellarite security chief kind of stamps away, kind of angrily, but also kind of looks a little bit afraid. And he disappears down a corridor. Training instructor Merzek moves towards you guys. He says, I want you to get on a runabout, and I want you to go back through the wormhole into the Alpha Quadrant. He looks between, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 of you. He looks between the 6 of you, kind of gauging your reactions, gauging your, you know, how you respond. I'm going to start randomly. Mac, how does Johnson react to this statement?
He guesses it's because the infamous domain.
And what about...
So he does,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
so he's not surprised
Not
about
surprised.
it.
Okay. What about Charon Edgeford?
Well, whilst he may not be surprised because there was a threat of wiping out this planet on a very short timescale, he is quietly concerned. He's doing, again, the whole sort of stalwart poker face thing, but he is concerned about the fate of the mission.
Okay. And what about Cadet Karava?
Cadet Karova's still a bit bummed out that the Dren clone died. She wanted the
Living
she
in the
wanted the
past
she wanted the
already.
martial arts fight. Yeah, she wanted the martial arts fight him.
Oh,
So
okay.
now she can't. So she's like,
I mean, you
Ugh.
might one day. You never know. All right. What about Tali? What about Deez, and how does he react to hearing this? That you guys are going back to the Alpha Quadrant. Is Tali not on? I guess not. All right. So that Prix. How does? I mean, Prix just got here like 3 days ago. So I'm Prix and Lex. So I imagine you both are kind of bummed.
Yeah, Prix is pretty disappointed. She was really hoping to find some new plants and critters to, in her medical studies.
Hmm. Yeah.
Don't forget about the 2 animals we have in from the planet.
Yeah, you guys have
We work
pets
with-
and mascots, apparently.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
we're gonna bring. Johnson's going. I'm bringing them along.
And what about Cadet Lex? How does he feel about turning tail and running?
He looks not really disappointed, but like he's staring off into nothing. Like he's not quite sure how he feels about just getting here and now having to go back.
Okay.
He was looking forward to being in another quadrant for a while.
Understandable. So now I need everyone to make an insight check on basically the entire situation. You can use command, security, or medicine. Medicine for psychology, command for diplomacy, and security for security.
Oh, I'm bailing this one.
I'll get medical.
Okay. And it'll be a scaled difficulty, so as long as you get 1 success, you'll get some bit of
scaled.
information.
Well, okay, never mind. I didn't bail.
My character's just too busy wanting to bring the bird and the goat, wasn't it?
I think it was a goat and a vulture or something. Yeah. That you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, my character's like, oh, I'm bringing the bird and the vulture and the goat with us. He's too busy focusing on that.
Here's your goat. And where's your bird? Here's your bird. Shit.
That's not a goat.
It's an alien goat.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's look at your rolls. So definitely Johnson doesn't really notice anything. Cadet Prix and Cadet Karava, you guys definitely notice that Merzek, who by the way is half Deltan, so you guys are kind of feeling his nervous emotions a little bit. But you guys can definitely tell that there's something going on that Captain Eldon has told him that they have not told you. And then whoever gets 2 successes or more, so that would be Lex and Charon, there seems to be some sort of imminent threat that is going to put everyone's life in danger, pretty much right now. And he's trying to get you off planet as quickly as possible so that you are not involved. So I'll let you two decide what you want to do first, since you guys have the most information. Do you want to listen to him and try to get to the runabout, or do you want to try to stay and do something else?
It was phrased. Oh no, please, you first.
Continue.
It was phrased as an order, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't like a. I mean, I don't think Charon would really make a distinction, but for your sake, for player's sake, it wasn't like a, go here, do this, do that now. It was more like a, look, guys, I hate to say this, but you're gonna have to get on the runabout and get out of here. I know it sucks, and I wish I didn't have to have you do that, but it was definitely more of a kind of plea, I would say, is the best way of describing it. A plea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Norris had something.
Lex will kind of look back at the group and look at the captain and go, "Sir, request permission to stay. You might need a good helmsman for whatever's coming."
The training instructor kind of looks to you and then looks to Charon and then looks around to the others. And before he's about to respond, Captain Eldon walks over, along with the Saphir co-administrator. And Captain Eldon says, "Mr. Merzek, I believe I gave you orders. Please attend to them." Merzek just nods and gives you all that one last hard glare. Not really a glare, more like a meaningful stare before he walks past you out the front door. And then Captain Eldon says, "I have new orders for you, cadets. You are to attend the meeting between the Saphir representative and the Starfleet representatives, which will be us. Do you have a problem with that?" And he looks between the six of you. Does anybody wish to make... Basically, which way are you going? Are you going to try to follow the captain's orders? Or are you going to try to follow the training instructor's orders? Which, by the way, just because nobody would really have a question as far as, in character. Training instructor is your direct superior. He's the guy who's training you. The captain is just the captain of the ship that you happen to be training on at the time. So the captain really doesn't have any authority over you at the moment because you're on the
Yeah.
but it's up to you guys how you're going to interpret these orders.
I would say I'll follow the training instructor's advice, and because he knows that the captain has no authority on the base.
Okay. Charon?
Soth takes a very sort of like rule-bound approach to it. He's aware that in a crisis, a captain could just full rank and go, "I am captain," even though he's outside of his conventional command. So it's blurry. As a result of which, he's going to put it very plainly to the captain, which was to the effect of, "Sir, we have received directly contradictory orders from the training instructor. I would appreciate your guidance in this situation about which order to follow, sir."
Does anybody else, before the captain responds, does anybody else say or do anything?
Oh, I'll say Krav would probably ask a similar thing. Like, training instructor just said that we had to leave, basically. But also we're second year. I'm a second year cadet. I don't know what authority I can really give to a meeting.
I believe that sentiment was made clear in a previous diplomacy episode where some cadets were saying, "Why are we here?" I think that was the one Durlock GM'd with War Admiral Tavel. But if nobody else has anything that they want to say, then the captain will respond to Cadet Charon, and he says, "It's very interesting that the training instructor told you to do that." And he hits this communicator and he says, Lieutenant Commander Glav, I want you to apprehend Training Instructor Merzek immediately. Nobody is to leave this planet or this base. And he turns back to the co-administrator and he says, your will be done. And then he just turns back to the cadets and says, thank you for your loyalty. All I need you to do now is to remain in the break room. And he gestures to like a room off the side of the command center. And he says, please await further instructions in this room. Do you guys head to the break room?
Well, yes. I apologise if I'm talking. I'm just going to say what's going through Soth's mind. His plan, however, is as soon as we're out of earshot of everybody here on the way to the break room to go to say some words to the effect of, this all seemed normal until he said, your will be done. That was...
Yep.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yeah.
Some red flags are going off there.
What was that, Pricks?
Red flags are going off for Cadet Johnson.
So what do y'all
He's
do?
gonna say, we need to get off this planet.
Presumably when we stepped outside, not in front of the captain.
Yeah, he's saying it outside.
Okay, so you're walking towards the break room, kind of looking like you're heading towards it, and also talking. Because he's not, after you guys start walking, he turns around and him and the co-administrator start like he's not even paying attention to you. So he assumes you're gonna follow his orders. But what are you actually doing?
I'm gonna go see about finding our ship commander, or not ship commander, training commander.
Okay.
The one he just ordered to get arrested.
Yeah, you guys could find him pretty easily because as soon as you get to like the windows of the command center outside in like the grassy area, you can see training instructor Merzek. If I can find, nope, that's not it. Where is it? There it is. He has gathered a few other instructors and individuals around him, including some other staff members, including Lieutenant Runa and Lieutenant Villar. And he has basically informed, and I'm saying this specifically for Tali and Mac because you guys are actually player characters, who are training instructors as well. He says, Captain Eldon has a brain nanite. He is being ordered to do this. We must not let him succeed.
Okay, Rona definitely goes, we need to get the students off base quickly as possible.
Agreed. And then the group of staff head back towards the command center. What do the cadets do when they see this, like, half a dozen staff members coming towards you? I'm going to just say also, all armed with Type 2 phasers or rifles.
What's the look in their face? Are they looking like determined, or are they just looking like nonchalant?
Oh, they're determined as hell. There's nothing nonchalant about this except for maybe the Vulcan or something. But no,
they've got very much. This is a coup faces.
Yeah, something similar, yes. But the question is, what do you guys do about it?
If we're resolved that the captain was acting strangely, Soth would say to the instructor as they're sort of approaching, Sir, the captain is behaving in a most peculiar fashion.
I realize that. Thank you. Make your way to the runabout immediately. And then, without even stopping, they move past you guys into the... Does Runa or Villar want to stay with the cadets? Because the rest of them are going to continue into the command center.
Runa says, I'll stay with the cadets and get them to the runabout immediately.
Okay. Alright, so you guys are... Is anybody not going to the runabout?
Lex will ask Runa, what is that her name?
Yep, Lieutenant Runa.
Like, what's going on?
The captain has a nanite in his brain, so we have to get yous off planet before anything happens. Let's go.
And
Soft will
just
follow, but it'll say, "Do you require assistance in dealing with it? We may be able to help
No.
you here."
I need to get yous off planet before anything else happens.
now.
Shouldn't we be trying to help the captain, like neutralize him, not shoot him?
The teachers will handle it.
I just gotta check, see where the actual.
Insight.
Yeah, anyone.
At this point,
If anyone wants to make an insight command or insight security or insight medicine checks, you're more than welcome to. I'm just looking for the runabout motor pool, real quick.
I'll do
at
a
this point we find out that
security.
Zek is the one with the worm. On the nanite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't on the ship. So.
DJ.
Strange.
And DJ's just basically patting the boat and holding the bird. So can I take our mascots?
Fine. Do you want to ride the fucking goat too? Oh wait, who? You're asking yourself. You're asking yourself. Runa should answer that.
Veronica, just put them on the ship. Just put them on the ship. We'll deal with it later.
Ladle?
Yep.
Later. And the medical officer has like the goat and the bird on there that she can have a look at.
Yep.
Cadet.
God.
Yes, I believe the scan of this goat might be quite interesting.
So you guys get to just outside the force field, which you guys have comm shields on, so you can go in and out. Oh yeah, that's probably some bit of lore I should specify. So your comm badges have personal force fields, so that basically automatically, if someone tries to shoot you, it deflects it. That won't last forever, but it's helpful. It also means that, you know, if there's a force field, and as long as you have the right code or, you know, frequency or whatever, you can pass through the force field so other individuals can't. So you guys can pass through the perimeter of the force field of the campus and get outside. Get to the runabout and pretty much immediately get on board and kind of, if you want to, leave. And I meant to say this but forgot, but as you guys were leaving, you could hear phaser fire coming from the command center. Who's taking the con of the runabout?
I'll hop in the con.
Okay.
Rena did say she was making sure they get out safely, so
yeah,
she'll make sure.
Now, I'll also tell you that you don't have to worry about any of the NPC cadets. I'm assuming that either they're out in the mountains training and nowhere near this facility, or they're on a ship somewhere training, so you don't have to worry about them. They're not going to all die because of you guys left them behind or anything like that. But yeah, you guys get to the shuttle or the runabout. I need a control. You know what? Since you are kind of in a perilous situation, you don't want to be caught. Let's make it a daring and con. Difficulty 2 to get you up in the air for the pilot.
Okay. We only have 4 momentum right now.
Yes.
Should I use a momentum to get an extra die?
You can.
Yes, do it.
Okay.
Wow. Alright. I'll just roll a random d20 on the side because I don't... Oh wait, I actually do have a character sheet for the runabout Amazon.
Is the trainer coming with us?
No, training instructor Merzek is back in there helping clean out the garbage. Basically. The only instructor that's with you, the only staff member with you is Lieutenant Runa, science instructor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, got a
Yeah.
complication from the ship. So you lift off, you get up into... Now, you guys do have 4 momentum, so if you want to spend 2 to get rid of it, you can, or you could spend 1 and I can
Yes.
re-roll it.
1. Get rid of it.
Just get rid of it?
Yeah, be safe.
Alright. So you're at
We're
2
near end
momentum.
of session anyway.
Yeah. And you guys get up into the runabout, and you reach orbit, and let's see where... here it is. And yeah, that's the the ship, the Republic, sees you guys leaving and turns around and kind of comes to catch up with you to pursue. The other escort ship happens to come by just as you guys are leaving. So now there's 1 ship in front of you, 1 ship behind you. They haven't made any moves. They haven't hailed you. Their shields are both up. What do you guys do? They're just flying at impulse speed.
I look at Rona. Or call back to Rona where she's sitting.
I go to the comms and pretend that I go onto the comms and say, "This is Lieutenant Runa. I'm science instructor. I'm doing a survey of near the wormhole. Please let us pass."
Excuse me. Where is Vivek? Is he on the Republic?
Yeah, he's still in the Republic.
He has gotten the bridge on the Republic has gotten a call from Captain Eldon saying auto destruct in 30 seconds. What does he do?
Auto destruct.
And the first officer is implementing it. What is Lieutenant Vivek doing in response?
How long does it? So it's 30 seconds, right?
About to be 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's gonna run right down to
An escape pod?
Yeah.
Alright.
He's gonna try and just send a message out, and while he's in the escape pod, saying the ship is going to explode.
Alright,
The Republic.
roll a presence and command to see if you can maintain your composure as you do all that. Because it's gonna be a heck of a... It's gonna be hard to get you to an escape pod while calmly informing your crew to get to also escape pods and get off the ship before it explodes.
Yeah. Oh, Lucky's good in...
Ah, wow. Well, he manages to get to an escape pod as he sees a bunch of other people running to escape pods and shuttles. And everyone on the runabout, as the escort ship in front of you, the Argyle, begins to power up its weapons, the Republic explodes behind you. I would say probably a dozen escape pods or shuttles make it away from it before, you know, it completely explodes, and a lot of the debris kind of shatters into the Amazon and the Argyle. I need a pilot to make another daring con roll, difficulty 3, to try to get past the escort ship and not take too much damage from the debris.
I'd say spend momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll spend 1 of them.
Okay. Oh wow.
Good thing I did.
Yeah. So you guys get a momentum, and you get past, and go to warp, heading towards the wormhole. And that is where we are going to end today's session. So me and you, Mac, are gonna have to talk about your game next 2 weeks from now, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It is going to be slightly
I can
different.
never keep it to one session. It's always got to be like 2 or 3. But we can still encounter what you want to encounter. It's just going to be out in space. It's just not going to be around the planet, probably.
I was planning it to be in space anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Yeah. Well, we'll still probably have to.
Yeah.
Oh, and before I
I'd
forget.
say-
Sorry. Go ahead, guy.
I was gonna say probably at one point, Crab would probably want to ask the two new Bajoran people, just should ask them where are they from, kind of thing.
Okay, we'll do that next time. Just remember. So those of you who are new, Lex and Prix, I already gave you guys one normal milestone for this session, because I give every new player a milestone so that if they have anything that they need to change, whether it's focuses or maybe one of their stats, they can go ahead and do that automatically. So you guys already have one. As for reputation, yeah, this is one episode where reputation is actually going to be it's actually going to kind of matter, because not only do you have reputation for Starfleet, the infamous Allegiance and the Saphir are going to know about what happened here as well. Probably the Dominion too. So that's going to be interesting. But let me find the reputation. Where did I move it to? Oh, there it is. Starfleet rep. Alright. Let me turn down the music.
Yeah, I don't know where that actually goes or how to use that.
What I'll help you do that. Actually, yeah, let me get back on there. Speaking of which, so first of all, before anyone does anything, just go ahead and go to your. Turn that back off. Then where is it? Just go to your character sheet, and when you'll see a cog symbol next to where it says Starfleet personnel file at the very top in bright orange letters.
Yes.
Just click on that, and it'll take you to a second page. Now, every time you make a new character with Roll20 on a new character sheet, you always have to change your rank. Even if your rank is ensign, that drop-down menu, it's buggy. So if you don't change your rank to something else and then change it back to ensign, it's gonna have everything all wonky. So just change it to like lieutenant or captain or whatever, and then change it back to ensign. You'll notice your responsibility changes to the left in the middle from 1 to 20. Responsibility is the level of critical, failure, similar to earlier when we were talking about critical failures. So that just means that anything over a 20 is a critical failure, which makes sense. Before that, it said anything over a 1 was a critical failure, which would mean that you can't succeed. So that's why it's buggy. But anyway, so basically what you want to do is I will give you a certain amount of dice, of D20 to roll for your reputation. And your reputation, when you roll it, if it's under 10, if it's 10 or under, then you go up. If it's not, then you don't go anywhere. You only get, in my games, you only get negative reputation if you actually do something negative, not if you critical fail, like in other games. I don't know why that's a thing. There's been times where a good player who did everything right ended up going down like 5 points because of some critical fails. It's stupid. So I don't do that. So if you get a critical fail, don't worry about it. You only have to worry about it if you actually do something bad. I don't think anybody did, so everyone should be fine. Alright, so I'm going to start with Edgeford, someone that knows about reputation, so I can show you how it's done. Let me make sure
Thank you.
There we go. Back to house rules and reputation. So acted accordance with orders and directives gets a +1. So yes, I think you did all that. Even when it was really hard to know what's the right thing to do, when you got two completely different orders by two people that had relatively equal, right to give you orders, you ultimately followed the right one. So that's a +1.
The other guy had a brain chip. He had a brain. It was controlled. So his orders don't count. I don't think.
Oh, and before I go any further, because I want to make sure everyone knows this. If you have used a determination, you get a normal milestone. So if you're one of the new players that used a determination and I gave you one free, then that means you get 2 normal milestones for this session. So if you're not a new player and you used the determination or you got injured, but I don't think anyone did. But if you use the determination, then you get a normal milestone always. All right, challenge the directive. Now, technically, he did do that though. He did do that technically. So, well, let me look at your character.
Just so I know, what was the challenging a directive?
Right. So when the captain was like, "Hey, you're going to be part of this diplomacy," and he was like, "Well, actually, we were already ordered to do this and that and the other." Technically, that's a challenge, even if it's. I mean, I don't make the rules, but even if it's the correct thing to do, it's still a challenge. However, because of how it was phrased and how it was definitely not disrespectful in any way, which technically is that's not even what challenging a directive means. It just means like questioning whether or not you should do something. But even so, what I'm gonna say is instead of just taking 2 away, which is what what I have it down for, I'm just not going to give you an acted above me on the Call of Duty. Also,
Okay.
I kind of think your character did what his job normally would entail anyway, being a security, minded person. So I just won't give you that one, and instead of taking 2 away, and I think that's more than fair. So +1, and then directly contribute to saving lives. I'm gonna say +3. Pretty much everyone is gonna get a +3 for saving lives because unless you just didn't do anything to help with the whole Dren clone and android situation, you pretty much helped save lives. Even though Dren did die, you still postponed his life a little bit longer. You also saved the android's life. So either way, I think you're good. Everyone's gonna get a +3. Also, the reputation is going to be seen by the Dominion and the Infamous Allegiance and the Saphir as a good thing. So this is going to help in their eyes. This is going to help you guys because when they encounter you, which they will take that into account. So that's already a +4 for Charon. Taking unnecessary risks. I think the only risk he really took was stomping on the eel, but I don't think that was unnecessary. So I don't think I can give him that one. Personnel under your command were killed. No. Thankfully, you guys have nobody on your command yet. Directly contributed to the deaths of others. Technically, yes, because you were stepping on the eel. However, a argument could be made that it was going to die anyway because of the brain nanite. But then you could also say, well, the brain nanite probably wouldn't have killed it, except the fact that you were trying to kill the eel. So, I do.
It all depends on if the eel counts as an other. If the eel counts as another, then yes, I did contribute to its death. If it doesn't count as a person, then yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it counts as a person. I remember when I wrote that a while ago, after I did that, I was like, I really need to reclarify that whole thing because I think when I originally wrote it, I meant it to be a sentient being, but I didn't specify that. And so that I'm just gonna, because that's why it's a -4, because that's pretty big. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that one. You didn't directly contribute it to Dren's death or anybody else's that's a sentient being. Resorted to lethal force without cause, no. That would be a -5, but no, but the eel was definitely with cause. Formed an alliance with an enemy. Do you think, even at death, when he died, that you may have formed at least an understanding with the Dren clone, or do you think he was still your enemy at that moment?
In my heart of hearts, he was Soth's enemy.
Okay, fair enough. Maintain the Prime Directive. If I remember correctly, because I don't, I need to look back at the timeline. But I think this was actually the first contact with the Saphir that that Federation actually had. So that went pretty much as bad as it possibly could have gone. Other than you guys opening fire on each other immediately, which is probably the worst case scenario. But that being said, y'all did everything that you could do. So I'm going to give you 6. And in this case, because the Prime Directive was relevant in this situation, because it was a species that you were just now encountering. However, I could also say that taking out somebody's eyeball definitely goes against that. But
You gotta disarm the man.
Technically, that goes against the Starfleet policy of body autonomy more than anything else.
Yeah, I think. I mean, if I looked at it like this, like if you guys had a Borg drone on your ship, would you just start removing its implants because you thought it was a threat?
Move the implants that could be used as guns.
Right.
Well, technically, that happened with 7 of 9 on Voyager, so.
Yeah, and I honestly, that happened a lot, with Picard. I mean, the only person that didn't happen with this was Hugh. Hugh was the only one that kept everything for some reason. But either way, that I think that will come down to Prix's reputation, not to Charon's. Prevented combat. Did you prevent combat at all? Like, was there a chance where there could have been combat that you were like, no, there's not going to be combat? Or was it pretty much...
Other than by taking all sorts of steps to really restrain the Drain clone so he couldn't initiate combat, because that's what I assumed he was going to do.
Other than that, you're right. I mean, not only the thing... Okay, so the force field was not really anything. Like, obviously, he probably could have got out of that. But the fact that, like, you did take off his armor, all of his bodily things that he could have used. I mean, he had stuff inside his body, but the external stuff that he could have used, you did take all that away. So, and even though he wasn't really there to fight, it was up in the air, I think, especially once somebody was rooting around in his brain for an eyeball. I think it was very much up in the air. If Prix hadn't succeeded in actually removing it by the time he woke up, I think he would have just snapped her arm off or something. But she had already kind of almost pretty much completed the entire thing, and there was no point in it at that point. But so yeah, I'm gonna say you got 7 insubordination. No, that's too severe. So yes, even with the -1, you still have 7 reputation dice to roll. So 7d20 you roll, and anything under a 15 for your character is added to your... Oh, and don't forget, you roll 5 at a time because it doesn't let you roll 7 at a time.
Okay, thank you. Alright, so here's the first 5.
Whoa, nice.
Remaining 2.
So that's 4. 5, 6.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So, I've got some rep spend to do.
And you're at 21. And don't forget to spend it. A lot of people have a tendency of forgetting.
Well, before this session began, I think I was at 19 or 20, and so I bought a bunch. I am now scrabbling for stuff to buy. It's a case of, oh my god, in order to be eligible for the other stuff, I need to be like commissioned officer, that kind of...
I think what I'm going to do is, especially for like the year 2 and year 3 cadets, I'm going to let you guys start buying talents, because I think that's going to become more important, I think, than all these commendations.
Yeah, if you put up a cost structure for that, I will gobble that up.
Yeah. All right, so you're done, and I think...
I'm done. I'll fade away if I may, so I can go to sleep and get up for work.
Did you get a normal milestone or no?
No, I didn't, because I didn't use a determination.
Okay. Does any...
I've got to go soon.
Okay. Can I do... Go ahead, Edgeford. Can I do your reputation next, guy? If you're not...
Right.
I know you got to go. See ya, Edgeford. All right, so... going down the list, you were also security, so this should be relatively simple and kind of the same. Yes, active course orders and directives. You did not challenge a directive this time, I don't think. Acted above me on the call of duty. Yes, so that's 2. Directly contributed to saving lives. Yeah, you were on the ship when you guys beamed them over, so that's 3. So that's, let's see, 5. Taking unnecessary risks, I don't think so. Personnel under your command were killed, no, not yet. Directly contributed to deaths of others, no. Resorted to lethal force, no. Formed an alliance with an enemy. I don't think you really formed an alliance, did you?
I chatted with the robot.
But were you friendly with, like, were you? Because it's one thing to just be friendly and talk to someone. It's another thing to be like, okay, we're friends, we're allies, we're together. Like we understand one another on some kind of basic level.
I think that understanding on a basic level kind of came about because you were talking about like how we have different how they claim
Oh yeah, they
different
were
species
talking
or
about this
whatever.
different species. Yeah, they did have that conversation. Okay, so I'll give you. So you're at 7. Maintain the prime directive. Yeah, you didn't really give any information to anybody.